everybody. I started recording this and then I broke into a fit of sneezes. I literally sneezed 5 times, but fives are where change happens, so I'm optimistic. um, I have been having a lot of what I'm calling go your own way moments lately. So the title of this video is going to be called Go Your Own Way. Great Fleetwood Mac song. I don't think Fleetwood Mac really has any bad songs. So in my last video, I predicted that, like, the energy would just be, like, triggering us, and sometimes, like, when I make these predictions, like, I forget that they also apply to me, and then things start happening, and I'm like, oh shit, I was so right about that. Particularly with my mom. Actually, my dad and I had, like, a really good, like, conversation. I don't know, we were, like, being buddies or whatever this morning, so I was like, okay, that's unusual, like, tea. And then my mom and I had plans to go to, like, there's, like, a hotel here, and they're doing some sort of, like, tarot festival or something, and so my mom told me about it, and, I asked my cousin if she wanted to go, but she was busy today, so my mom was like, oh, we can go if you want, and I'm like, okay, cool. So yesterday, we agree that we're gonna go at 2 p.m., right? So I'm, like, ready, like, waiting to go. And so I take my kitties out into the backyard. So, like, you know, they're playing, whatever. And my mom comes outside at, like, 1:45. She's like, okay, we can go now. And I was like, oh, like, I just let the cats out. Like, can we just wait? You know, like, we said we're gonna go at 2, whatever. She's like, no, I have things to go. Like, I have things to do after. Let's go. And, like, I don't know. To me, like, it just, like, I'm about to get my period. So I'm, like, extra sensitive. But it really hurt my heart when she said that. Like, immediately, like, I was having a really good day, okay? My vibe is great. I look so cute. I'm having fun. And that just immediately, like, pulled down my vibration, and my feelings were hurt, and, like, I was like, I can't remember what I said, but I was like, no, like, okay, like, let's just wait, like, 10 more minutes or whatever, we're gonna let, like, the kitties play, and then we can go. But it was just the fact that she's saying, like, oh, I have things to do after, because then to me, like, one thing I've noticed about my mom is, like, and I love this woman, love her, she's always in a rush, you know, or even, like, if we're driving somewhere and, like, I take a route that, like, maybe she wouldn't take, she'd be like, why don't you go this way, it's so much faster. Oh my gosh, pardon me. And so, yeah, that is just one thing I've observed. It's, like, again, always trying to, like, find the fastest, like, most efficient way to do things, and it's, like, she doesn't maybe see the merit in things if they're not done, like, the most efficient way, and that probably is just because, like, she worked in business or whatever for, like, so long, but, so, we didn't go to the tarot festival together, because I was trying to, like, explain to her, like, I was like, you know, it hurts my feelings when it's like, okay, so you share with me, like, okay, here's this thing that it seems like you want to do, but then to me, it's like, before we've even left the house, you're already rushing me. You're already like, okay, let's get back. Like, I have other things I have to do that are, like, more important. Because it's like, well, yes, I am going to enjoy going to this thing, but it's like, if I'm going to go to this thing, like, I want to do it with someone who's, like, going to enjoy the atmosphere and, like, have a good time and not be rushing me the whole time I'm there. Because it's like, if her and I do something, I give her so much patience. Like, I'm never rushing her, being like, oh my God, like, if, like, her and I made plans, you know what I mean? So then to me, it's like, if we have plans, it's hurtful for me, like, if you're gonna spend, like, our plans only giving me 50% of yourself, because the other 50% of the time, like, you're up in your head thinking about, like, oh, this is what I have to do next. You know, like, that's something that we don't consider. I just saw 333 when I'm saying this, but, like, as humans, like, we're giving each other fragmented pieces of ourselves, and then we're wondering why our relationships feel so unfulfilled. It's because it's like, we're so in our heads, like, thinking about a million bajillion other things we have to do, instead of just, like, appreciating, like, you know, the person that's right in front of us. So I'm trying to, like, express how I feel to my mom, and it's like, her ego is just standing in the way. I mean, I think she did kind of understand, like, what I meant eventually, but I'm just, like, I had to explain to her, like, do you understand, like, where I'm coming from, you know? Like, how, like, yes, like, I want to do things, like, things that are, like, interesting to me, but, like, I want to, again, do them with people that, like, feel good about themselves and feel good about life and, like, aren't living, like, so much in their head, like, they're able to be present and do these things with me. And even, like, so a few days ago, we had another go your own way moment. And so I asked her if she wanted to come for a walk with me, and she's like, yeah, okay. Usually she'll say no, but she did say yes. And then as we're leaving, she's, like, stepping on anthills, and I'm like, those are God's creatures. And she's like, whatever, Haley. Like, she's a Scorpio Mercury, so she just, I don't know, gives me, like, attitude or whatever. And I was like, you know, I really don't like the negativity I'm hearing in your voice. And she's like, do you want me to turn around then? And I was like, no, like, it's fine, I'm just saying. And then, like, we keep walking, whatever, and then I think I said to her at a certain point, like, I was like, you know, sometimes it's not even what you say, it's just how you say it, because it's even, like, how I watch her and my dad interact, too, and it's, like, they're so, like, snippy and, like, at each other's necks, and it's, like, there's rarely, like, a kind word, and I'm like, how is your entire relationship built on so much just, like, I don't know if you're, like, taking each other for granted because you've been together for, like, 3 decades or whatever, but I'm just, like, I don't see, like, where is the love? The Black Eyed Peas asked this long before me, but I'm still asking it all these years later. Where is the love? My eyes are starving for love. And so I think, like, when I say things like this to my mom, obviously it's like when someone is offering you an opportunity to rise up, not everyone wants to take that. And so she'll be like, I'm just going to turn around. And the other day when she did that, I was like, okay, I still had 4,000 steps to get. I didn't even look back. I just kept walking. Got all my steps in, came back. It was like nothing had happened, you know? So there's really, like, the energy of right now, when it's triggering you, I think it's important for people to realize, like, there is nothing wrong with going your own way. You know, I think some people, like, I used to have abandonment issues really bad. Like, when I was younger, I would make something like that my problem. Like, it actually felt so good for me to just keep fucking walking the other day. Or, like, for me to be here with you right now making this video and talking about things that are important to me instead of, like, making my mom's emotions my problem. Or her making my emotions her problem, right? Like, insisting, being like, oh my god, like, no, we should go to that thing, whatever. Because I told her, I was like, if you have things that are more important that you would rather be doing, like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, if I want to go to that thing, I can go do it myself. But otherwise, I was like, you know, I'm just feeling called to go make a video about this right now. Because I'm literally, like, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place right now. But when I was talking to my mom about all of this, I said, like, so when you were a little girl, like, did your mom, like, because I think she said to me, like, let's go, like, we can go get this done. And I'm like, well, that's the point, get this done? Like, is that how you want to think of, like, spending time with your daughter? Like, something I have to get done? And then I started crying. You know, you can't even tell. Like, I look so cute, but yeah, I was crying a lot. And it felt very, like it was coming straight from my inner child. Like, it was just, you know, and I think it was, like, picking up on her inner child, too. Like, again, being psychic, you feel a lot of, like, what other people feel. And I think, like, I said to her, like, so when you were little, did your mom say to you, like, let's go spend time together, or let's get things done? And then, you know, she kind of, like, paused to think about that for a second. She said, but you're not a little girl anymore. And that really pissed me the fuck off, because this woman always wants to tell me, like, you'll always be my little girl. Like, you'll always be my baby. And I'm like, when it's convenient for you, perhaps. But now it's like I'm asking you, like, okay, let's go spend time together. And, you know, you want to act like I'm your fucking, like co-parent that you have to see or something, you know? Like, I'm like, am I not someone that, like, you love and enjoy spending time with? So, I don't know. But again, all of these things, like, because I have chosen to, like, rise up, like, in both instances, it's like I just kind of stood my ground and I communicated, like, okay, this is how I'm feeling about what's going on here. Like, my mom is someone I've lived with her for, like, a year now. I've observed her patterns, and I'm just kind of pointing out, like, okay, if you want to have a sustained relationship with me, like, these are areas for improvement. And, you know, so it's kind of up to her, like, whether she takes those or not. And then, yeah, and it's like I've done the same thing with my dad. Like, he'll have moments, like, for example, the other day we were all standing in the kitchen, and he just yells out, he's like, well, not even yells out, but just exclaims, he's like, there's a stain on my deck, and it needs to be cleaned up. I was like, okay, like, can do, no problem. But the fact, you know, the way he says it, my deck, mine, you know? And then this morning, like, we were out, I don't know, sitting on the deck talking to him, and then he just, like, asked me, you know, like, oh, could you do something? And, like, if you could do this, like, this is why I like it when it's done this way. And then I was like, yeah, no problem. And then I pointed out to him, I'm like, you know, like, when you explain things like that, like, that's really, like, that's healthy, good communication. But the other day in the kitchen, like, when that happened, I was like, that was just, like, a bit childish. And he didn't say anything about that, but I know that, like, he's told me in the past, like, if we have, like, a weird interaction and it, like, rubs me the wrong way, and then I try to, like, communicate with him about it after and just, like, offer him an opportunity to reflect on, like, so why do you think you chose to react, like, that way instead of this way? 9 times out of 10 he'll tell me, like, yeah, I felt bad about that after. I don't know why I did that. You know? So I think just, like, living consciously, like, being less on autopilot, and again, like, being present in the moment, like, that gives you a chance to respond to things rather than react, because reactions often, like, they come from the ego. Whereas like a response, if we all kind of give one another patience and room and we don't expect like an instant response, like it's okay to need a moment to think about things like before you respond. Or like if sometimes like when my cousin and I are talking about things, again, I have like 6 years on her, so like I might ask her for her opinion on something, but before she even gives it, I'll be like, but if you need more clarity on like what I said, then like let me know. And sometimes she will say to me like, okay, actually, yeah, like I don't really understand what you meant by like this, and then I'll try to find a different way to explain it to her, just so that like straight out of the gate she's not like misinterpreting what I'm saying or whatever, you know. Like I think like one thing I'll see when I'm scrolling passively on like Tumblr sometimes is people being like, I'm like, I shouldn't have to explain myself to people. And it's like, but you do. Because people aren't, you can't just assume that people like, yeah, I can read your mind. Like that's one of my special powers, but not everyone can. And not everyone thinks the same way as you, you know? And like that's something that like can be so easy to forget. I think like I haven't had like a job, like a normal job in like a long time, you know what I mean? Like everything I do is like in the computer. But like when I have worked retail in the past, like, so again, I have bipolar, right? And so I have noticed, like, let's say I end up like working with someone who is like autistic, the way that like the spectrum of those two things, like the way that they respond, because as far as I know, like autism is like maybe you don't pick up on social cues as easily, whereas like bipolar or like borderline personality disorder, I think that's the other one, it's like you can almost read like too far into things or be too deeply sensitive, right? And so we all have to remember like so we're existing in this world, and there's all kinds of people in the world, and it takes all kinds of people to make the world work. Like the world would not be perfect if everyone thought like you and acted like you. So we just need to like accept people as they are and know that it's okay for us to go our own way when what they're doing doesn't feel aligned with us. And that doesn't mean that they're our enemy. Like we can still love them, but sometimes you just need to be like, okay, well, maybe our missions aren't aligned right now. Because like the other day when my mom and I were going for a walk, for example, maybe her mission was like to like be negative or something. I don't know what type shit she was on, but my mission was to get the rest of my steps in, and like those weren't aligned, so we went our separate ways. And then later that evening our missions were aligned again when we were sitting on the back deck and we were able to have a conversation. And actually that made me want to talk about something else that came up with my mom and I too. So this is just basically like a therapy session. I do have cards that we'll talk about in a minute though. So like when I first moved back in with my parents like a year ago, they kind of like there was like the expectation, like let's say like my mom would cook 2 days, my dad would cook 2 days, I would cook 2 days, right? And I was like, okay, like I mean, I was living alone for years, like I had to cook for myself, so like I have no problem doing this, whatever. But then for my mom's birthday, like end of November last year, my parents go to San Francisco, and what happened? Oh yeah, so my parents go to San Francisco, they come back from vacation, and then they tell me that they're getting a divorce. And I'm like, okay, and this is not the first time they've told me this, mind you. Some man just looked at me like I'm crazy because I'm sitting in my car filming a video. Like, hey. Anyway, so they tell me they're getting a divorce. They've been telling me this on and off since I was 8 years old. I'm 26 now. But like they seemed like legitimately serious this time. Like my dad literally like moved into the bedroom downstairs. So I'm like trying to like therapize both of them, whatever. They are sleeping in the same bed again that night. And at that point, oh, this man is about to like jump the fucking fence and he thinks I'm weird. Like, okay. Anyways. Okay, so yeah, they're sleeping in the same bed that very same night. And for me, I was just kind of like, okay, if you cannot respect that, like, I'm a deeply sensitive person and you involving me in all of your drama, like, that throws me off. That makes it hard for me to, like, do the things that I need to do outside of, like, cooking for you twice a week. So I don't think I've actually cooked a full meal for my parents, like a full-on, like, you know, maybe I'll make them little things, whatever, but, like, I have not cooked a full-on meal since December of last year, because I was just like, I can't. I'm removing myself from this family structure. Like, I'm like, this is a bit. I'm like, you guys need to fix whatever's going on with you, and I need to go start something new for myself. And so my mom, she did ask me the night, she's like, hey, like, can I ask you, like, why'd you stop cooking? And I was like, because you, like, I don't feel like I can be a part of whatever's going on here. And, like, she's just kind of like, that went right over my head. We can talk about this later. And then it was never brought up again. But I will say, ever since I've started walking 10,000 steps a day, her and my dad have both, like, been consciously choosing to be more active and like make better decisions for themselves in that department. So I'm very glad to see my influence reaching other people there. So, you know, it just goes to show, like, you never know who's watching you. And like, even though, like, I think in my last video I was talking about like people don't really engage with that stuff like when I post it on social media, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop posting it. Like, I think I'm pretty sure my Tumblr is shadow banned, but I'm like confused because also I'm steadily gaining followers. Like, I have like over 7,000 now, right? But it's like the engagement I get, you'd think I literally have 12 disciples. And I probably don't even have 12 disciples. But our YouTube family here is growing, and I love to see that. Yeah, okay, I just rambled for about 15 minutes. Let me take a drink of my Diet Coke. And then we will talk about cards. I have Shaman cards and Star Tarot cards. And the Starbucks gift card. Okay, so Shaman... Basically, I pulled like one tarot card for every Shaman card. So the first one that came out was the Eagle, Medicine Shield Protection. And my name is actually Haley Alicia, which means Hay Meadow Protected by God. My parents picked it out of a book. They did not know that. I did not even know that my name meant that until like last year. But that is just pretty much like a testament to why I move the way I move, because I know that like I am protected by God. Like everything I do, even the worst moments of my life, like I was still protected by God, and he tried to save me from like doing that. I was just stubborn and had to keep putting my hand on the stove and getting burned or whatever, right? Sorry, I used my nasal spray for the first time in a few days. If you can't tell, I have allergies. I'm a Haley I'm allergic to the planet. So I'm very congested right now. But anyways, so you have to know that you're 10 of Cups. Look at that, your rainbow, your happiness, your happy, fruitful family, whatever your vision for the future is. You have to know that you are protected. That's another thing that like is coming up a lot for me lately, is like the concept of like star children. So I have a few predictions that have been coming my way, or just like feelings, knowings, whatever. So I feel like anyone who is born to like 2 conscious parents within like, well, Pluto's in Aquarius for the next like what, 19 years, those are gonna be the star children. And I think that those are the ones that like they're gonna be born with like so many knowings. Like I'm so excited to meet my future children. And I have lots of like knowings about like Cancer in particular. Like quite a few people that I've made Angels Among Us videos about have like dealt with cancer, or like have been cancer patients themselves or whatever. I've been watching The Crown lately, and I really want to do like a whole series of videos using like the British royal family as like a case study. But obviously I think Queen Liz at the end of it there, she had cancer. Charles has cancer, Kate had cancer, whatever. My grandpa died of cancer. You know, it's all around us. It's like this very, like, it's this prevalent thing, right? So my feeling is that, like, star children in particular will have a lot of knowings about how to treat these kinds of diseases. Remember, dis-ease in your body. So I feel that, like, in a new Earth, there's going to be a lot of, like, more research done into, like, the link between emotional trauma, physical trauma, and stuff like that, and how that might manifest as cancer, as opposed to just kind of like I feel like they're throwing money in the wrong directions right now, you know, like just kind of like coming up with like what is the most harsh, insane treatment that we can do for people, as opposed to being like, what if we focus on the collective healing their traumas that is leading them to like engage in behaviors that make them more prone to cancer. And then we have just like a healthier society overall. Like I think we need to like go to the root of the problem instead of like throwing money. Like right now I feel like human suffering is becoming a business. Oh, my nose is running. There must be some truth to what I'm saying. So anyways, yeah, I definitely want to expand on that in like other videos, but those are just like things that I've been seeing. And also something that I feel that I'm kind of like, I don't know, I feel like the British Commonwealth within the next 5 years, that will be obsolete. That's just like what I feel, but again, I have no concrete proof of this, just my visions. Okay, so actually what I thought was interesting was I've had these shaman cards for a while and I didn't know, but there's 2 of them that say expression. So this one says flute expression, and a different one came out as well that we'll talk about, but this came with strength. So it's like you need to have the strength, like knowing that you are protected gives you the strength to express yourself. Like how when, say, like things with my mom, like if she is like being negative or just like upsetting me or whatever, like I know that I'm protected. I know that like if I speak my truth there and I do it from a place of like integrity and kindness and like wanting to make our relationship better, then like yeah, sure, maybe like there might be like some discomfort or like something to like work through there, but it's like I am protected and I have all the tools I need to work through those things and to like hopefully help her see the light. And if she chooses like that's not aligned with her, then I have to know that like I'm protected and like I'm okay on my own. You know, I've been on my own before and I can be on my own again. So yeah, just know, live with a lion heart. Again, tap into your inner Terry Fox. Find like some sort of Leo inspiration. Wear like root, like red, orange, yellow, like those are really good colors to wear, I find. Like if you want to feel more confident or just like kind of like walk into the room like God sent you, those are like colors that really embody that sort of energy. And then the next card that came out, I love, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck, the Great Mystery or Trust. So look at this lion, and he's just like, think about how big and powerful like a lion is. Like lion, ain't nobody telling that guy shit, right? But then look, he's just mesmerized by this little butterfly. He's just being in the moment. He's not thinking about where he has to be after this or whatever. He's just looking at the butterfly and he's like thinking like, what a wonderful world. Ain't life beautiful? And so here's the Emperor, right? And actually the Emperor, he's got a little tiger, he's got some horses behind him, right? So you have to know, like, in order to like gain the strength of the Emperor, it's like the Emperor would be someone that like has their cups, their pentacles, their wands, and their swords all sorted out, right? So it's like you kind of have to be at peace and like at one with Mother Nature and like know like be not afraid and like use the animal spirits or like different, we're gonna talk more about this as I like pull these other cards. There's like lots of ancestral energies around. Oh, here's the other expression card. So this is like water expression. So how I was saying earlier, like when I was kind of telling my mom how I was feeling, like literally tears were just like streaming down my face. But it's like that doesn't mean that like I'm crazy or like that we need to be in an argument or like she's a bad person. That just means that like I'm feeling a lot and this is what we're gonna do about it. And so that came out with the Ace of Swords, right? So I think kind of like as I was pulling these cards, like what I heard or what like I felt called to say was like the more you practice this, the sharper you'll become at it, right? So like I've always been a very emotional person, but like when I was younger, when I would get emotional, like it might be hard for me to like clearly express myself, right? But like on the other expression card, it's like the flute. So like if you're learning an instrument, like I've been learning piano, for example, so like most songs, like I'm not going to be perfect at it right away, but the more I practice like expressing, you know, that song, expressing those notes, the better I get at it. So just if you're uncomfortable with explaining yourself, maybe it's because you don't have a lot of practice, or maybe you're not surrounded by people that hear you. So get around people that really want to listen to you. Or like if you don't have them, then like do what I do. Speak into the computer, the phone, the iPad, whatever the fuck. Speak into your diary. But speak from the heart. The heart is always truth. And then we have, see, orange, yellow, bright, vibrant. So offerings or wealth. Don't be selfish. I think in the video I made about unraveling distortions, I was talking about being wary of scams, right? And I don't want people to think that that means that like I'm a selfish person or like whatever. Like again, give what you have, but like if you're giving to your community or like to people you know, that like you can actually see yourself making a difference. Because I think a problem with the world right now is like because we have access to so much information, we can constantly see how many people are suffering. Like we can really make that our responsibility, and then our burden is getting heavier and heavier, and then it's like no wonder people are collapsing and unable to take care of themselves, because it's like they have murder syndrome and they think they need to save the world. All you need to do is like be a kind person in your community and like give back when you can, and like focus on taking care of you. Because if you can't give back right now, if you focus on pouring into you, then eventually you will have something to give. But like I don't think that people should be expected to like give when they are empty. So the more you give away, the more you attract back to you. And actually the more you give away, the less you want to, right? Because like if you're just like filling like an empty void in yourself, like, or attempting to fill an empty void of yourself, like through consumerism, like buying all kinds of shit or whatever, then like you're just gonna be a hungry ghost, like chasing that external validation forever. So make offerings, and then that will give you like passion, right? Like once you see like, oh, this is the difference I can make, and like you actually see like, oh, there's improvement because I'm making this difference, instead of saying like, oh my god, I only have $20, like let me give $5 to this like GoFundMe campaign for like people that are in like a war-torn country. And it's like, well, maybe in like a week you might get an update that something terrible happened to them, and it's like, then maybe you're wondering like, oh my god, like what can I do for these people, what can I do for these people? But it's like, well, what can you do for your community? You know, just kind of come back to center, recenter your center of gravity. Okay, that's what I need everyone to do. Feathers are a very big symbol for me in like my indigenous ancestry. So on my blog I have a few, like I tag things with like emojis or whatever, and so my feather, I post any kind of like indigenous knowings or whatever that I come across on Pinterest. And one thing that they've been telling me or trying to show me lately is like galactic wisdom and indigenous wisdom, very similar. And I would not be surprised if like within, I'm hearing in my head 6 months, but like I don't want to put a time frame, but like let's say within 6 months, like there might be kind of like more knowings coming out about like first peoples having contact with like extraterrestrial beings and stuff that like we didn't, because society is like not high vibrational enough like for those right now. So anyways, feathers, this says restoration. So like that to me, it means maybe going back to your ancestral roots. So maybe like you don't have indigenous ancestry, but like you do have ancestors, you have lots of them, and there is so much wisdom that they have like from their past lives that you can tap into. And I'll probably make a video at some point about like how I feel like I have tapped more into my psychic energy. I think like having a really pure vessel helps. I think a lot of movement helps. Just like being receptive. But yeah, like just tap into the wisdom of your ancestors, whatever they have to offer you. See, they're giving, you have to receive. And this is the 9 of Pentacles. This is someone who is fully ready to receive queen shit. She's got her little, this is Apollo, my cat. Yeah, she's got her black tiger, her bird, her castles behind her. She ain't worried about nothing. There's nothing to fear. And then our last cards is like altar, honoring. So I have an altar in my room actually, and like on it I have like seashells that I got from Newfoundland when I was a little girl. I have my passport, I have like a candle, I have like my sound bowl, I have like things that my grandma has given me, like just random shit, whatever. And so this came out with the devil. So I'm kind of sensing here like the message is like, you know, connection to your ancestors, like connection to like what came before you, and like really rooted in like maybe the people who came before me weren't perfect, but like I can utilize their lessons and their energy and their prayers and their blessings to really like move myself forward and to be not afraid. Because this fear, you see, this is division. This is what's keeping the masculine and the feminine apart, is fear. But our ancestors don't want that. Our ancestors want us to be fruitful and multiply and make star children. Not just with anyone. Not just with anyone, okay? With the person that you are divinely assigned to. The person that you are meant to create a new earth with. Actually, I saw something really good on Pinterest the other day, and it was like, heal so that we don't have another generation trying to pass trauma off as culture. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit, that's another distortion we're unraveling, actually. Because like a few years ago, so for probably like 2 or 3 years, I managed like a hip-hop music website or whatever. And before I managed them, like I was writing like probably like 16 articles a day about like, Megan Thee Stallion is over here twerking, this person had another baby, this person got arrested or whatever. But if you think about it, like a lot of like that, like the news that comes out of that like sphere of the world, like it is trying to pass trauma off as culture. Because it's like, why are these men out here like sowing their royal oats with like 12 different women, trying to see how many different babies they can have? Literally, my dad and I, when we were going to Walmart to pick up my prescription today, he was telling me about so his mom and dad, like his dad was bipolar, like I'm bipolar, so thank you, Grandpa. And so my grandma, I don't like, she's actually quite like an intelligent woman, she's very kind, whatever, but like because my grandpa was mentally ill, he just kind of like, he was very jealous and like possessive or whatever, and they had like 10 kids, and my grandma wasn't able to be like a fully present mother, like especially like by the time my dad got older and whatever, because like you know, she just wanted freedom. She wanted a life of her own. Like, my grandpa left or like got put in an institution, and my grandma just wanted to like live. And I think my dad's twin sister, like, because my grandma brought men around, like some of them were kind of like inappropriate towards my aunt and whatever. So, you know, it is just kind of like, it perpetuates family trauma, because it's like you don't have that close family unit where people are actually like connected and like know what's going on in each other's lives. It's just kind of like everyone is off doing their own thing. And there's like, I mean, granted, like that makes sense in some circumstances, but like, my dad was telling me that like his dad's sister had like 16 or 17 kids, and like one of her sons was like brutally murdered, and it wasn't even investigated or anything, you know, because like stuff like that was just so normalized. It's like, if you have 16 or 17 kids, like one of them is bound to like go through something like that or whatever, I guess was maybe the mindset. But like, that's not how things can be in a new earth. You know, like, it's just, if you are like really struggling, or like if you're a person who it's like you're really leaning into like, I don't know, some sort of form of like escapism, like to like not do the work, like I don't think people are gonna like think that's cool. I think people are gonna look at you and say like, wow, that's really sad, like what haven't you healed from, like how can I help you, you know, instead of like worshiping that. I think we're gonna start to see just how distorted things have been. I think that's all I have to say today. You can go your own way, and it'll be okay. Okay? Okay.